कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी, ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to our Successpreneur webinar. This is a webinar which we host every Saturday. I'm Gaurav, Marya, Chairman of Franchise India Group. Let me give you a little background about Franchise India. Franchise India is a company we started in 1999 to help anybody who wanted to start a business. We were India's first start your own business platform. And over these last 23, 24 years, we've been helping entrepreneurs to start new businesses. And we've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who benefited from us. So it became our responsibility that we come and give all our learnings and guidance to new entrepreneurs who are looking to start new business, how they can start it successfully. So why this Successpreneur as a webinar? It's very, very important to really know, and this is a very unique name. It says successful entrepreneur being combined. It's called Successpreneur. Now, Successpreneur webinar is actually designed to really give you some insights before you make a decision to start your own business or commit yourselves to start your business. In India, about 40 to 50% of all business startups are done by people who have never done business in their life. So they have a lot of fears, a lot of anxiety before they really start the business. And sometimes business doesn't go as they thought. And actually, most of the times, a lot of entrepreneurs really suffer because the business is not done as they thought they would do. And it causes a lot of frustration, a lot of issues, financial, social, personal, a lot of issues really come in. So to safeguard that, you need to do a lot of research and planning. And this webinar is really designed to that. So welcome once again, and we'd like to make it very, very interactive. So there is a Q&A box where you can ask as many questions you want to do that. And somebody is saying, "Aap Hindi mein bole." So if everybody wants me to speak in Hindi or English, please write on the Q&A box so I can structure my communication accordingly. आप सब Q&A box में बता सकते हैं if you prefer Hindi or English, and depending on that I can structure my webinar and it can be useful for everybody. So last 4 years, Diljit says English, so I try to see if I can mix both to accommodate Pavanji, Diljit, everybody. I'll try to accommodate. So last 24 years, Franchise India gets a lot of people who write to us. I still remember when I started in 99, this company Franchise India, and we started a magazine. And those days, emails were not so much popular, and the magazine used to go all over India. It used to be sold on all newsstands, and we used to get 200 to 300 letters weekly, those days. And the person who used to come from a post office really got used to get excited and got to be getting some kind of a very excited because we used to get a lot of letters for us, and these letters were people writing to us and say, "मैंने आपकी magazine पढ़ी है. I want to have a particular business. I want to start a business," and so on and so forth. So I felt that there was so much of demand. Almost every home have somebody who's looking to start something of their own. Look at now what is happening. There's a whole new audience which has suddenly emerged in the last 2 years because of this COVID. Everybody who lost job, who doesn't want to do a job, or who wants to start something of his own, something which is more stable. Everybody is looking for stability and new career, and I think this is probably the best time. In the last 2 years, I've seen so much of demand coming to Franchise India, which is very surprising. We've got about close to 1 million people who have reached to our webinars, who come to our seminars, and so on and so forth. And they're all looking to start something, but very little out of that people who come to us actually end up starting. This is very surprising. Over the years, Franchise India has got about 10 million direct interface. 1 crore से ज्यादा लोगों ने फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के शो अटेंड किए, या फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के पास आए, या फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के .com पे आए. अभी भी every month we get so many people who come to us. These are people who have physically interfaced with us, but we have actually been able to sell maybe around 1 lakh franchisees, which is also a very big number. If you look at the number wise, we are the world's largest business sale company. There is nobody close to us. But if I really see what happened to balance, why they were not able to take decisions. Every day we get a lot of people who come to us because they've had a lot of fears that if I start a business and if the business is not successful, what would happen to my money? And there are a lot of risk involved, especially in India, because we don't get that kind of a funding. In US, if you want to start a business, 95% government would support you, banks would support you. But India, you have to bring your own money to start a business. While we all talk about the startup world and all this and that, but very few people get really funding, and that also largely technology-based businesses. But if you really see, India is all about service, retail kind of businesses. आज भी हमारी economy की 75% of our small business economy, जो 97% of GDP को contribute करती है, that is retail and service businesses, and they don't get funding, so they have to bring their own money to start their venture. It can be any venture across board. It can be education, retail, healthcare, any kind of a beauty business, fitness, food, hospitality, any kind of business you want to start. You have to bring your own money. So it carries a lot of risk. And that's where we started this webinar, so we can really put a lot of insight on. So when you're looking to start a business, 4 things have to come together. That's very, very important. First is your mindset. Is your mindset ready? And that's one of the areas which I feel sometimes people are exploring, but they are not firm in their own mind that they want to take the decision of starting an entrepreneurial journey. Because starting an entrepreneurial journey comes with a lot of commitment. And I call the DATE, D-A-T-E. So DATE stands for, you need to bring a lot of discipline. You need to bring in accountability. You need to bring in a lot of training. You need to train yourself as an entrepreneur. And you need to encourage every day morning, you have to get up and encourage yourself that you will be able to make it happen. So unless and until you have this piece, very important. And you also have to be a good storyteller, because to attract people to work with you, to invest on you, and so on. There is a good quote, somebody was saying that what makes people raise money? Good idea, great team, or storytelling. Actually, it's the third one. If you're a good storyteller, if people believe on you, they all come. Your team come along with you. Your investment come to you. And that's very, very important. You need to build your own story. What do you want to do? That's your mindset. And that mindset is very, very important. And mindset doesn't come only with you deciding to come into business or starting your own business. It also comes with a lot of backing from your inner circle. Inner circle is your immediate family. They need to also give you that confidence. And then you can really take out a venture. I have seen a lot of entrepreneurs who started this business and got nervous. 4, 5, 6 months, they started a business. In fact, I know a lot of entrepreneurs who went back to job. Doing a job back is not an easy decision after you started your own business, because now you got a freedom. You always wanted to do this entire thing, and then you're leaving that business and going back to job. And when I interview these people, and I see that they went into job because they were passing from these uncertain times. I just recently interviewed one person who was doing 2 years working in his own business, and I asked him, how do you survive 2 years? You were not making money. He says, I used to make money, but it was not very firm. So he wanted predictability. He went back to, want to come to a job and work for somebody rather than working for himself because he wants predictability. So this all is mindset. The mindset is very, very important. My first question to all of you, and you give honest answer on this, and that's why we make it interactive. How many of you have decided that you want to start a new business in next 60 to 90 days? What is your mindset telling you right now? Are you firm, or you not firm, or you have a different date altogether? Just go and write in Q&A box, give me a quickly answer, and let me see who has that firm mindset. Who has that firm mindset to start? It might be 6 months, it might be something else, but give us a date. What is the mindset telling you that you are ready to start or take a plunge to start your own business? And be honest about it. If you're not, then you can write that I'm not certain, I'm just exploring. That's also okay. Give your answer on the Q&A box. Trupti is somebody is looking to start in end of April. Now that's very clear. Congratulations, because you are firm. It's a firm to really do that. When people come with dates, I get entrepreneurs out of 100 entrepreneurs who come to me, who want to become an entrepreneur, somebody who wants to start a business, come to me, only 1 out of 100 would have that firm date. Rest, everybody is very open, right? Somebody would say, I am exploring, if anything comes in good, I would like to start. They never start. They never start because they have no date in mind. So it's actually, life is all about setting firm goals. If you don't have that date and you don't chase that date, it never happens. 99 don't have the date. Only 1 has a date. And when they come to me and say, what is the first step you should take when you want to start a business? I say, fix that date. Fix that date, whatever date is. It might be your mother's birthday. It might be your, anything, your first child's birthday. You have decided that date and said, this is a date when I'm going to start my business. I would take that plunge. But before doing that, a lot of preparation has to be done. So the first thing, Sunil, thank you. Himanshu, thank you. Keep writing. I will keep reading your names and also acknowledging what you write on the group. So we will make it more interactive. So first thing is really about the mindset. And that's something which to me is, how would you perform even in your business? If you come with a weak mindset, you have a weaker business to come around. A lot of people, even if they started a business, they're not too sure they would be successful or no. And they would not be successful. I can very clearly tell you. Only people who come with a firm mindset, very clearly, they define that this is a mindset we need to be on, are very successful. Because every business can do well. Every industry can do well. It's not that you are just in this industry or that industry. Everyone can do well. It's actually about how you execute and how firm you are and how planned you are for that. So that's one piece to it. The second piece is what resources you are bringing to your business. That's also very important. And 3 critical resources, one has to really be honest about it. One obviously is capital. What kind of capital you bringing to your business and where it is coming from. Have you extended yourself already, or you stretched yourself already, or you borrow, or what are you doing on bringing that capital? And you have to be extremely, extremely honest about it. Even if your family is funding that, where are they funding from? Because sometimes I see children come to us and they want to start, young people come to me and start a business, and their father has taken a loan. It's actually even more than you have taken a loan, because you always go back to your business thinking that your father is on loan because of you, right? So really, this money is very important, and the source of money is extremely, extremely important, where it is coming from. I had a colleague of mine in my company. He came to me and says, I want to start an entrepreneurial journey. I want to start my own business. I was very impressed. I never discourage anybody, even if I'm losing a good resource in my company and wants to start his own business. I never discourage, because that's my business. I encourage people to become an entrepreneur. And I said, how are you going to fund it? He says, look, I have enough saving and I want to start this. And I encouraged him and I worked with him and entire thing. You will not believe, he worked 4 months to set that business. He was putting up a restaurant, and he invited me every time. He was the person who was folded hands, working in his own restaurant and that thing. And it delayed. It was supposed to open up in 60 days. It opened 90, and he burned all his working capital. You will not believe, the first month when he started, in 30 days, he closed that business and went back to job. So 5 months only, he was from one job to another job, and he had never had a courage to even come back to me that he's closed the business. I actually came to know later that he's closed the business already. So why this happened? Why this happened? because he had only working capital to survive for 4 or 5 months. And that didn't happen. And he had no money to support his family. And so he had to take the call. And now I know this decision would become even more difficult for him in his life, because the first time was not able to make it successful. So it's a very sensitive decision to do that. So understand your resources. One is capital. Second is your involvement, how involved you are going to be in the business, and who else is involved with you in your business. That's very, very important. So there is a return on capital in business, especially when you're doing a small business, but there is a return on involvement also in business. That's also an ROI. I call the 3 ROIs: return on investment, return on involvement, and return on intelligence. Sometimes we put too much of focus on return on investment. Actually, in small businesses, that's the least part. Least part. Everybody starts small. If return on investment was only criteria, Dhirubhai Ambani would have not built Reliance. So he started a small business which can become that big. So that really didn't come from his investment return. If the investment was to return, he still would be a small business. So he outperformed his investment, return on investment, because of his return on involvement. He was very, very involved entrepreneur, and he also had return on intelligence. He was intelligent than a lot of peers around him. So he was faster, he was able to bring bigger value, and hence his return on investment always outperformed the market. So he was doing much, much better than what money can do for him. And that's true today also. Reliance, if you really see, even becoming a large business, a lot of people say they have a lot of money, but if you really see their business model and how they perform and structure, they always outperform expected return on capital deployed because of their return on involvement and the return on intelligence. The intelligence they bring into every single business is extremely, extremely important. I had an opportunity to work with them multiple levels. They are really, really smart organization. And if they are smart, not now, this is a pedigree. That's a structure which Reliance has. That's why they're very, very successful. So you need to really be clear about what is the kind of involvement you are trying to bring in. And third is, what is your strategic value? What is your experience you're bringing into the business? That's also very important, because business, when you're starting off, needs a lot of capabilities which you have to bring in. What is your capability that you will be able to take that business to the market? So first is mindset, and second is what kind of resources you are committing to that business. And you need to write down those resources, very clearly define those resources in that. Third is drawing your business and financial plan. That's extremely important. I know a lot of entrepreneurs, if I ask them and say, you're starting this business, have you written your financial and business plan? Like for buying a franchise. If you're buying a franchise, most of the people buy into a business plan, which is written by the brand owner for that business. They would go and take their financial model. They would take their business plan, but not make your own business plan. Even if you're buying a franchise, maybe you're taking a franchise for Subway, you need to build your business plan for the market you're starting off. What is your plan? How you want to really run that business? That's very, very important. Once you draw and write down and put into numbers, define what you expect from that, how numbers have to do, validate that, then your expectations would start becoming aligned. Otherwise, you will always have a wrong expectation from your own business, which means that you will always go to your business and feel disappointed because you're not able to get what you always wanted to get, because your expectations are not aligned. I've done many businesses, and many businesses have been successful, many failed. And all the businesses failed, I have a same pattern, that I just impulsively invested into the business. There was no business plan, no financial model done with that. And you need to really think, your financial goals are very important. What is happening in your life, and what would happen in your life in next 5 to 10 years, and how your business is going to support all those major events which are coming in. You were planning to buy a new home in 3 years. Is business can give you that? You have a big marriage to support in your family. Is this business going to give you that? You have kids' education coming up where you have to send your children abroad to study. Is this business going to give that 5 years from now? What is the major events coming in your life which your business can give you? That's extremely, extremely important. So write your business and financial plan. That's very important. And the fourth element to this combination is team. What kind of team you will require to make it successful? Today, it's all about people and your ability to attract people to work with you. So this is about these 4 combinations. So before you even starting off any business, you need to really see, is your mindset right? to do that? Are you really mindset wise? Second, what is the resource you are committing to the business? Resources further is capital, your involvement, and your strategic value which you bring in, which can be your experience, your location, anything which comes to your mind. Even sometimes your contacts. You have some relationships which can come extremely beneficial for a particular business. Then you need to really understand your business and financial plan. And finally, you need to really talk about your team. How do you want to get your team right? So once this is done, then you need to really go and define what is a successful business. And that's also sometimes a lot of myth around it. And in successful business, if I ask anybody and say, what do you mean successful business? Now, successful business, a lot of people think is return on investment, which means good ROI. And what is that good ROI, right? So that's also a big confusion. A lot of people cannot define a good ROI. I put this question back to the audience. If you all go out and use the Q&A and give me what is a good ROI which you should expect from a business? Give me a percentage which comes to your mind. What is the return on investment you think through is a good ROI and you feel that business can be successful if it is that ROI? Use this Q&A and let me see anybody giving this answer. What comes to your mind? Because people are not prepared. So a lot of times when people who are first time getting into business or thinking about getting a business are actually confused about this word called return on investment. Sometimes their expectation is 20% is a good ROI. When I tell them that, look, 20% means that you will recover your money in 5 years, which you've invested. Oh, no, that's not good enough. Then I want a higher ROI. So they have a very confused thinking and positioning about the ROI. Return on investment is proportionate to the risk you carrying in the business and the life of opportunity, which means that if life of opportunity is very long, even a lower return on investment is the good return on investment. For example, you're starting a healthcare, you're starting a hospital. Now, this hospital is going to run for next 50 years, 100 years, right? Even if you're working on a 15% return on capital, it's a good ROI, right? But if you are starting a small business, which is has maybe 4 or 5 years of life, and you need to reinvest into that same business again, like say starting a small restaurant, but then you would need higher ROI. Like Tirupati is saying she wants 65-70% ROI, which means that the business should pay off in about 14, 15 months. The money should be out. And these are very high return businesses. And that means those businesses have to be very different. It can be professional services. It can be other services where you don't put too much of capital. You put small capital, but because you're putting your time, your return is coming faster. Say you start a consulting business. Maybe you start with a 4, 5, 7 lakh rupees kind of investment, but you can get much faster and much higher return on investment. But it involves your time and energy and so on and so forth. But when you're putting a school, which would take 6-7 years to come down to optimum capacity, your ROIs would be lower. But ROIs is a very small determination of how successful business would be. The bigger thing which has become now the question, if you see last so many years, we had a couple of years, we were hearing companies which are not even profitable are becoming so valuable, right? And the companies, conventional businesses which were ROI centric businesses are failing. So today it's very important that while you focus on incomes, but you also have to focus on building value. How do you build value in a business? That's also very, very important. Third, what is the long-term synergies in this business? What is the long-term viewpoint on that? Fourth, is it going to continue to solve the problem? Which means that there is a problem, like my business, Franchise India, I still feel that very strong. I'm 24 years in this business. I started with a very simple idea that I want to help people who want to start a business. And this is a problem which I think is even more stronger now than it was 24 years back. So 24 years, entrepreneurship was not so big, but now it is even more stronger. So if I see the business model of Franchise India is next for 2 decades, 3 decades, is going to be still strong because the business model or the problem we are trying to solve is very relevant. And sometimes the problem you're trying to solve in the business would not be so relevant in 3 to 4 years. So you need to really see what business you're choosing and is the problem which you're trying to solve would continue to be relevant over the time, right? So some businesses have that kind of impact. And overall, stakeholder satisfaction. That's also very important in the successful business. So business is successful It should give you a good return on investment incomes. It should build value. It should create a long-term viewpoint on that. It should continue to solve problem. And finally, in the middle is the satisfaction it brings to you. You enjoy what you're doing. Some businesses are good. They give you good returns, but you don't enjoy working on that. You say you're a trading business. You just buy from somebody, trade it, and sell it to entire thing. There are so many traders who made so much of money, but you don't enjoy building that business up, right? You're just making incomes because you have to feed the family. But look at the enjoyment these startups do these days. In the morning I had a pitch by a lady who started a startup, 18 years in working in IT, 18 years in IT, started a startup. 2 years they've been working on the startup, and they're commercially not launched. 2 years of somebody who's 18 years IT professional starting a startup and not made a commercial success, which means that they have not sold anything at this moment. They're still at the ideation stage and raising fund. So 2 years of your life, you're still enjoying building something, every day going to a co-working place to really, or they have part of incubation center in Hyderabad, going every day and still enjoying that, but you've not seen a commercial success because you enjoying building up that. So that's also very important, that are you going to enjoy what you're going to do? Are you would be excited to build this up? That's very, very important. So define what is your priorities and how you really want to call a business successful, and what makes the business model successful. Then you have to understand the risk. Now, this is also another area which a lot of entrepreneurs who are getting into business come to me and say, I want a risk-free business. Now, is there a business which is risk-free? Answer is no. There is no business which is risk-free. Only way you can do a business is reduce the risk, not eliminate the risk. If anybody comes to you and say, a lot of times in franchising happens, a lot of people come and say, look, I will give you a FOCO, franchise owned, company operated. I will run the business. You have no risk in the business. It's all rubbish. It's all rubbish. There is no business which has no risk. Even the safest of the investments you're going to do, which is investing passive, which means that you bought shares or invested into mutual funds, that can also go wrong. See, all these international funds which have invested, pension funds, invested into Indian large companies, I don't want to name them, and they went bankrupt. So pension funds in UK or Europe or US are the most safest investment because people retire and put into pension funds. These pension funds go out and invest into corporations globally for a higher return on that. And these people who are retired, sitting in Spain, enjoying their life, retired life, think that they would continue to get dividend. They collapse. Then what is the safety of any other investments, right? So if anybody tells you that it is the safest investment in the world, it is giving you a wrong answer. Rather, there is a quote which is very important. The only strategy which is guaranteed to fail is not taking risk. Again, I'll repeat, the only strategy which is guaranteed to fail, it's a big quote, and I don't remember who said that, but which is guaranteed to fail is not taking risk. So you have to take a risk. But if you take a calculated, structured, well-planned risk to business, you will actually reduce the risk, or you are forecasting that you will be overcoming that risk, right? But let's define what are the risks available. There are internal risks. Internal risks are financial risk. That's one risk. There can be also marketing risk. You will not able to say you take a business which needs a lot of go-to-market capability. It needs push. Like we're doing a brand called Vedantu, backed by a unicorn, great concept, edutech. But when people come to us, this product has to be sold to schools. So the investor who comes and takes this franchise thinks, oh, if I'm not able to sell it to schools, what happened? So there is a marketing risk, which means that you are not able to market that product. Product is great, company is great. And we all know everybody needs edutech. But then you have a risk that you might not be able to sell it, right? Operational risk, you are not operationally able to handle. Talent risk, which means that you not got the right talent. And these days, actually, businesses are collapsing because of talent issues. There's a whole, great resignation going on, people resigning, doing things, confused corporates, very, very confusion going on in the entire thing. So there is a lot of risk in financial, marketing, operational, talent, multiple internal risks which carry on the business. That's very important. Then there are external risks, like COVID was an external risk. It just came unseen, right? And I know a lot of successful people which were very successful pre-COVID are not so successful now. and some are on the verge of collapsing. Competition. You started something, and competition became so big, and so very big. Any kind of a regulation risk, which means the regulation changes or consumer demand shifts. Say you started something retail, and now it is direct to consumer. Like I was going for picking some thing from a pharmacy for my father medicines, and I saw one particular place. There were so many pharmacies, and they were so busy, and it was next to a big hospital, and there were so many pharmacies, all that, and there were, I think, 15 different pharmacies which were running. And I felt that all are at risk. They're all busy selling that this day. They're not understanding what is going to hit them, because a new distribution is coming, direct to home pharmacy is coming. People who are sitting at home would see on an app and order. How these would be able to compete? So they're not understanding shift of customer. They're busy in their retail sales. They are not building capabilities. They're not understanding. They have not captured so many years of their consumer who has to buy from them. Suddenly they would find themselves going out of business, or they would have to convert into any kind of company, or 1mg of Tata, or a NetMed of Reliance, or any other pharmacy or likes of them. So you need to really also understand what is the risk which you can explore. So define your internal and define your external risk. Now let's get into the last part quickly of today's presentation. If you're choosing a business, go through these 10 structures very, very fast. I'll go through, and if you have questions, use the Q&A box and keep asking questions. You can ask me question about any industry you are thinking. You can ask me question about any particular business or brand which you're thinking you want to really take over that business. And Franchise India has over 1,000 plus brands any given point in time represented. We are spread in 94 cities where consultants are there which can help you start your own business. But let's quickly go into understanding of how you want to start a business. First, selection of opportunity. Selection of opportunity always comes from connecting 4 dots. First is your industry. What industry you want to do? What brand you want to do? Coming to your financial goals. Remember, I told you in initial time, your financial goals which you need to do. And finally, understanding your micro market. So if you're coming from Gwalior, you need to understand what is the gap in Gwalior. What would work? What is not there? What is missing? Understand from the immediate market. So Gwalior immediate market is, say, Bhopal. So what is happening in Bhopal which is not happening in Gwalior? It will come to Gwalior also, right? So you really have to find that gap. A gap and timing is, to me, 2 very important things which smart entrepreneurs do. They are very good to understand the gap, and they're very good to understand timing. Timing is very important. Today morning, I was reading Economic Times. One of the big OEMs, a big company, is committing to start electrical vehicle, and they want to launch after 2 to 3 years. They will be late in the cycle, right? So Ola was smart. Ola was very, very smart. They build facilities ready to deliver, biggest in this country. By rather, other OEMs missed it. Hero missed it. Bajaj missed it. They all are now making investments into that. But Ola was very smart in timing. They were able to put that facility much before anybody can do that. Now, this is timing. This is absolute timing. I congratulate Bhavesh because he's a smart entrepreneur. He absolutely did the timing right. Well, there are questions about how he would perform and this and that, but I feel that he's already built the race. He's taken away the whole entire thing. I don't want to name other OEMs, other two-wheeler OEMs, which are much behind him, both by technology, innovation, product development. By the time they would catch up with this guy, and this is what is the difference between old school businesses and these new age scale guys. These new age scale guys have a greatest ability to turn around things very, very fast. So his ability to really execute is exceptional. So that's why I feel that he's ahead of the game, and a lot of people would lose this opportunity. Even if he does 10 months of mistakes, he'll still catch up because his timing is right. Airtel was a perfect timing by Sunil Mittal. That's why he still survived. Everybody came and went out of telecom, but Airtel survived because he was the first mover. He knew to come in the business. He was the first company which came in the market and always had this entire thing, with most tough competition coming from 2 times from Reliance, multiple times from other multinationals, Vodafone, other companies. But Airtel was Airtel because they had a perfect timing. So you need to really define your timing, which is very important. Understand your funding, understand the kind of real estate which you would need, which real estate, which location you want to open up the entire thing, what should be occupancy cost for you. That's also very important. You need to also understand your legal structure. what kind of legal structure you're getting into, what kind of contracts you're getting into. My piece of advice to you is nothing which is not contracted and written can create a bigger issue. So even if you are coming with your co-founder, with your partner, with your friend, a colleague in office, which is starting with you, make a contract. I know 2 to 3 years, 4 years, when things go wrong, the closest people fight with each other. So everything should be documented and written down. Also understand and define your business plan and financial plan. Understand if you're buying a franchise, understand what kind of support you want from a franchisor, define that, what kind of training you're getting, what kind of supply chain support you're getting, what kind of marketing support you're getting, what kind of technology support you're getting. All that has to be important. And most important is training. My message to people who are starting a business first time in their life, it's extremely important for you to train yourself to become an entrepreneur. You need to train yourself. You need to spend that 15, 20, 30 days on learning that business before you even invest into that business. And then you get on to really putting up 4 stages. When you're starting the business, put your business into 4 stages. First stage is incubation. You're not ready for that business. You've taken the business, you opened the business, but you're not ready for that business. You need to incubate it. You need to learn every process. You need to learn every department of your business. That's very important. Then you get into stability stage, where your business is now becoming stable. You're able to get things as you want. It's no more giving you every day new surprises. It's now stable. Then you go down to the 3rd stage, which is growth, how you grow your business. And 4th is what I call sustainability, where business can run without you. Business can run without you. At the day that happens, that means that you build value. At that stage, you have 2 choices. Because you know now how to really take a business to that level where it can run without you, you can duplicate your success. This is what good entrepreneurs do. They duplicate, reproduce their success and continue to do that. Like a lot of Indians have gone to US, bought 1 franchise, made it successful. They know how to run that business and then made it so many franchises. Somebody would have 50 Dunkin' Donuts, somebody would have 50 7-Eleven, one Indian family has 150 Burger King. So they duplicate the success. Second is you can sell the business. As the business is now successful, you can sell that business to somebody else. So that's a journey which you need to really do if you are looking to build business. A business should always come with a date when you want to really start, and business should also come with the date where you want to really create that event of wealth creation. Because the whole objective of you getting into a business was creating wealth for your family, so that you can look after them well, you can look after their things well. So if you're not doing these 2 parts, where you're coming to the business with a very clear mindset and also very clear mindset of what you desire from that business. So friends, this was a little bit from my side this morning. And if you have any other questions, anything which you want, and especially if you want to really choose a business, we have a service called Advantage. Advantage is designed over the years by us running a business of Franchise India, helping over 1 lakh people who have bought business through us. We've learned what mistakes they can do and how we can put them a very systematic way to come down to taking a business. And that is put into a structure, very, very structured. It's a 25 point structure where we take you through before you start saying, look, I am now confident I can invest into this business. So if you're not really enrolled yourself to our Advantage program, immediately enroll yourself to Advantage program. One of our senior consultants would work with you. We have consultants who are 2 decade, 3 decade experienced people across India, very, very experienced people. And you also get benefit to talk to a lot of companies, brands, opportunities which you can choose from. So if you're not enrolled yourself on Advantage program, I will encourage all of you to first enroll yourself. Even 3 months from now, you feel that this is not the right time, I should take a decision. That also is a good idea, but you should go the whole process. You should go through the whole process of deciding what is right for you. So I'm writing my business hotline number already written. I think Kanika, my colleague, has already written on a business hotline number. You can all see on the chat box, which is 9717683838. This is a business hotline, and this number has been created for all of us, all of you, to really go and get your inquiry, and somebody from our team would get in touch. Send a small WhatsApp of about you, what is your profile, what you do, and somebody would get in touch with you very, very fast. So friends, thank you very much for taking time out. It is a 40-minute session. And if you want to give me your feedback, I will also write my email ID. It's gm@gauravmarya.com. Very simple. It's just my name, gm@gauravmarya.com. Send me your feedback, anything which you want to learn more, anything which you need individual support in terms of your thinking, any funding requirement you have, which means that you want to raise some money for your startup idea, or any other aspect which comes to your mind, or you want to buy a business which is already running. We have a lot of businesses which are on resale also, so that's also available, which are ready businesses which you can acquire. So friends, thank you very much for joining this webinar this morning, and hope I was able to give you some meaningful ideas on starting a business. And if you feel that you need more help, please reach out to us on our business hotline number. Thank you very much and enjoy.